Hello and welcome to the C&E show. I'm E.
And I'm C.
And we're here. We don't have any guests today, so we're just going to be talking about the past.
Yes, because there are some good things in the past, like we met each other, right? I mean, it's been 8 years. Happy 8-year friendiversary, Elgin.
Yeah, it was about July of 2013 when we connected. We kind of were friends before that because in the early days of Panda Moon, before there were any authors signed, Christine and I both knew that we were going to be signed.
We did.
But it hadn't been announced yet.
Right. It was all secretive.
So it was like Zara was like telling us some of the other people that had been signed, but not everybody. So it was like she would do this online reveal to the other authors, and you would have to, she was trying to make it like a guessing contest, but there's only like a gazillion people that are writers out there. Right. So so it didn't work out real well. But
we've changed how things are done.
It's like nobody guessed who was going to be in there. We had, in that first class we had Elise Lee Goldenberg,
Michelle Bellin, Jason Beam.
We had Chrissy
Leslie, Regina
West is from Denver. I forget her real name. That's a pen name. Regina West. And her pen name is close to her real name. So
Emily Belden.
Emily Belden. I don't think she lives in Chicago anymore.
No, Michigan, right? Is that right?
I think she actually moved out to the West Coast.
Oh, good. Oh, good for her. That's probably going to be really nice for her out there.
Yeah. And Jeff Messick, he came kind of later on.
Yeah.
I forget, man. These are a long time.
I know. I mean, 8 years.
Obviously, some of these authors aren't
with
us. Yeah, some of these authors aren't with us anymore. So they went on to different things. They went on with different publishers, which happens in the publishing business.
Yeah.
People move on. Bigger and better things, like Steph Post is with another publisher. But the interesting thing is a lot of these people still stay in contact with one another.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, the writing community, no matter where you go, I feel like it's just is so close knit. You've always got that person that you can go to and still talk to and remain friends with. And I think that's just one of the benefits of, being in a writing community.
You and I were signed kind of early, but not really early. I think Elise was the first one that was signed. And then maybe you. I don't know.
It's been so long, I can't remember.
Jackson Bear was the guy's name.
Jackson Bear. Jackson Paul Bear.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Nice guy.
That's a good book too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you can get it anymore, but it's a good book.
And I really loved his book cover. His book cover was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful cover.
Speaking of book covers.
Uh-oh. Guess what, everybody?
Open share tray. Let me see what we got here.
I'm going to share something with you. We're going to try. Elgin's got his thinking face on. Can he do it?
I don't know. I haven't done this before. I got to see what this thing's called. If not, I'll splice it in so everybody will be able to see it. But
yes, we have exciting news.
Ta-da!
And here it is, everybody. Look, it's superheroes.
This is the cover. Book 3 of the Superman trilogy.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's called Superheroes. It depicts a scene from the book. I won't tell you which chapter it is, but Christine read the chapter because
I did. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
This is inside a haunted house. That plays a particular role. Those who've read the first 2 books probably know where the haunted house is, and knows some of the backstory. And this is an important part of the book. It's where the kids begin to unravel the mystery and who was responsible and everything else.
Such a beautiful cover. I tell you, that's a good one. I love them. I love that cover.
The other important news is that you can begin pre-ordering the ebook now on Amazon.
Yay!
It is available, and the release date is October 20th.
How exciting. Oh my goodness. And guess who's going to be the first to pre-order the book? Me.
Yeah.
Me.
We'll probably have a pre-order for the print books up shortly too. There's a lot of work involved in the background of getting a book up for pre-order. And of course, the digital versions of the book are a little bit easier to deal with in some respects. They're easier to make changes for certain. The print book will be available initially through Amazon and then through Ingram. So you'll be able to order it at bookstores after it's available on Ingram, but that'll be closer to October. And we'll keep you up to date on it.
How exciting. I'm so excited for you. This is, you know, it's the third book in the series, and it's just that chapter. I feel like the book cover, it just fits so well, and it's gonna be beautiful. I'm really excited for you, E.
And somehow my camera got turned off. There we go. So it's probably because I was sharing something and it turns off your camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I read some of Christine's latest book.
You did. That's right, guys. It's really there. It really exists.
She's been working on it all week.
I have. My eyes are tired. And in the meantime, to kind of, negate the tiredness of my mind, I've been writing on medium.com. So
she's published a couple of good posts. One is about writing and believing in yourself and trying to overcome all the negative stuff that's been put in your life since childhood, dealing with bullies and their impact on you. And I told Christine a story, and I don't think she was aware of it, but
wasn't.
We went to my old hometown. I've mentioned the story here a lot on the channel, but we went to my old hometown a couple of years ago. And I was dealing with some anxiety, which kind of surprised me because I thought all that was pushed, back in the past and everything. But I enjoyed being there, and I got to see a couple of my cousins that I hadn't seen in a long time, Linnell and Randy, and
the nice ladies at the library.
Yeah, I got the nice treatment we got, the welcome committee at the library. Not. Yeah, the librarian that ran things there when I was a kid was nothing like that. I mean, she was very kind and generous and spent time with everybody. And, honestly, we kind of caught them off guard, just kind of like walking in. And I'm not sure what I would have done, Somebody just walked in out of the blue and handed me a couple of books, Well,
it's a library. Maybe I would have taken them. That's where books go.
Well, maybe they've turned it into something else, and it's the library's a cover for something. I saw a show. It had to be on Netflix because that's the only thing I watch anymore. What's the show called? It's one of the top 10 shows though. It's about a girl whose mother kind of like runs away, because she's being chased by some bad people, and the daughter grows up to be just exactly like her mother, and her mother's like this hit woman kind of like thing.
I haven't seen that one yet, but it sounds like
you need to watch it. It's really good. It's a little bit campy, so it's there's some humorous parts in it, even though there's a lot of blood in it.
That's my kind of show.
What is that show called? I got the worst memory.
That's how I feel nowadays. Oh, I was trying to remember. I was telling about the movie I just watched like 10 minutes ago, and I couldn't remember the actor's name, and I still can't remember his name. Oh. That was 10 minutes ago. That says a lot.
Gunpowder Milkshake.
What a title.
No wonder I couldn't remember it.
Wow. That's a great title, though.
Yeah, it's worthy of Elgin.
For sure. Fried windows and a light white sauce.
And gunpowder
milkshake. Your alley.
I mean, gunpowder's obvious because there's a lot of shooting going on that. But the milkshake, there's a like a diner where people meet, and
they serve milkshakes. So
Okay.
that's kind of the tie-in.
Yeah, I see the correlation.
I mean, it's kind of a stretch, but it's all right. It fits in with the show because the show's got that humorous element to it, kind of. Okay, so.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch it. That's gonna be.
You're gonna have to watch it.
Have you seen Manifest yet?
Yeah.
I've started watching that and just.
Wow. I want them to make another season.
I think they will. I think they'll get picked up by another network if they haven't already.
I mean, it ended kinda, but there's a lot more left to go in the story.
Yeah. And I started watching Handmaid's Tale. I would not survive in a world like that. I'm too strong-willed for a female, so I would definitely not survive a world like that.
Well, getting back to Gunpowder Milkshake, when you want to turn in some books at the library, you take in a big bag of weapons that need to be cleaned.
Okay.
And you leave them on the desk, and then the librarian will give you some books.
Oh.
You open up the books, and there's more weapons in them.
Wow.
So that's what the library is a cover for.
Okay. Well, then, what if? I mean, what a great cover, right? A library. You think you can go there to read, but there's more.
But the librarians are badasses.
They always have been, though. Librarians are probably one of the coolest, most badass people around. Let's just face it. Librarians rock.
Well, they know everything.
They know everything. They know everything, literally.
I mean, that's from my childhood. They knew everything. I could go to the librarian and ask a question. Oh, it's over here.
Yeah. They're amazing. Their brains are like,
as opposed to my 6th grade teacher who would never answer or anything. She'd go look it up.
I bet she sounded just like that. Oh, but man, 8 years.
8 years.
Think about all the stuff that we've done in 8 years.
In the early days, we had a launch party for the first 2 books.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Which was Setnalta and The Earth Bleeds Red.
Yep.
Those were the first 2 books that we launched. We had a launch party, and we invited everybody that we could think of that we saw online. And a lot of those people are still friends of ours.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they aren't associated directly with Pandaverse.
Yeah.
I mean, like Rose Montague was there.
Yeah. Oh, Rebecca. Yeah. Remember Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca.
Yes.
Yeah, Rebecca was one of the originals too.
She was one of the originals.
But she dropped out because she was doing, the launch parties. She had a business on the side doing launch parties. And that was taking all of her time. And there was somebody else that lived close to her too. She was from Utah. And somebody that lived close to her was in the group too, and she dropped out. See, some people, they have books in them and they're not quite finished with them, and they never finish them. And
yeah, it's
a sad story.
It is. And we've seen that, I think, time and time again, and we've also seen, we've seen the good side of publishing. We've seen the bad side of publishing. I think we're very well rounded when it comes to experiences in the publishing industry.
Yeah, we've been around a little.
Mm-hmm.
We tried. Christine and I both were really supportive of other authors, and we tried to get everybody to share things online, which is difficult to do because people don't want to be accused of spamming. So I've been accused of spamming so many times that whatever.
This king of the spammer world.
King of the spammer. But it's like spam.
But isn't your one book called Dammer World? It could be Spammer World.
Spammer World. Yeah, Dammerwald. Spammerwald.
Yeah, but I mean, we've
should write a parody.
Oh, but I don't know. It's so great, when we've watched, authors, on the day of their book launches and they're super excited. And, we've seen the pictures where they're giving cakes with their book covers on it and they get flowers and, all these beautiful, great things. And, those are always the good things. Those are the good things that always keep you going, just to see the excitement, the birth of a book.
When you open up a box of your books.
For the first time, there's nothing better than opening a box of your own books for the first time. I think my most memorable was Laura Kemp when she did her video and she opened her box.
Yeah, that was fun. That was funny. She's like holding
my favorite. Yep.
She gives nicknames to her books too. Like,
Woody and Sid.
Her first book's Woody because it's Evening in the Yellow Wood, and then her second book is Snow and Summer, and she calls that one Sis.
And we've also seen where people have really high expectations of how they think the publishing industry really works. They think you can sign a contract and immediately there's, fame and wealth and notoriety. But unfortunately, as every single one of them have learned, that's not at all how it goes.
No, there's a good deal of work involved after you're picked up by a publisher. The idea that the publisher does everything for you, I don't think that ever existed. Really.
I know. Maybe in like the top 3 big publishers, or maybe for like.
Oh, they don't do it anymore.
No. In fact, there are several. Just numerous articles out there basically stating that fact because people have that unrealistic expectation of the publishing industry.
You can blame the media for it because you see media personalities talk about their book is number 2 on the bestseller list or whatever. And there's a game that goes on that most people don't realize. But I'll tell you the truth about what's going on. Let's take, for example, a TV personality that's involved with the news. Okay? I'm not going to call them reporters or anchors because that doesn't exist anymore either in the media. They're TV personalities, and people tune in to be entertained with their opinions about the news. And as long as you realize that, that's fine. Okay, but these people write books about the topics that they cover on their shows. They may have ghost writers involved, they may not. It depends on how their writing skills are. But they have the team of editors and writers go through their manuscripts, and their manuscripts get published. And they may put out a manuscript or 2 every year. And those books appear on the bestseller list. So they must be great books, right? They go around and they do promotions, and they'll stop at this bookstore or that bookstore, and they have an event, and people come in because they're large personalities. They have hundreds of thousands to maybe close to 1 million viewers every night on their show. All these people want their book and read their book. The company that they work for buys the books to distribute at these events.
Yeah.
And, they'll recoup some of it if they get paid, but they're buying the books to front load the position of the book on the bestseller list.
The more you know.
Okay. And it's not just that area of the business in publishing that does that. That's also done to a certain extent with fiction writers, although the best-selling list for fiction writers is a little more pure and pristine than the other areas. There's some legitimacy to the rankings. Now, having said that, all the New York Times bestseller lists are based on the orders, not the sales. So that causes the distortion in the system because a book will be listed in the top 10 bestsellers even before it's released because it's based on advanced orders. And they will promote the crap out of an author, a well-known author, because they know that they have an audience already. And they will actually front the author money and recoup the cost of that promotion out of the sales of the book. So the author may get $50,000 or whatever in advance for their next novel. And the first $50,000 of their royalties are siphoned off to repay the front loading of the contract.
Yep.
And that's the way it's always been with the large publishers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that. They don't do that for everybody, though. They only do that for established.
Very
They
small.
only do that for established authors or people they're really sure are going to be able to sell books, like people that are already celebrities.
Yeah.
Okay?
So when you get, people who are brand new authors who have no name or no brand, nobody knows who you are at all. So when you sign a contract, you can't expect riches and fame as soon as your book releases because nobody knows who you are.
There was a guy that, a few years back, I didn't stay in contact with him, and I probably should have. But he had a book that was going to be released in the fall of whatever year it was. And he was a world-class skier. That was the reason why he had a publishing contract, because he was famous as a skier. And frankly, I don't follow skiing. I didn't know who he was. That's a boundary that he had to get past, was, he had to always tell people, hey, I was a world-class skier. I was on the Olympic team, all this other stuff. Now, did that lend credibility to his book? Was his book about sports? No, he was writing mysteries. Okay.
But they hope that name, they hope people recognize that name, run out and buy that book.
A lot of people ask, when do I need to start promoting my book? If you're asking that question after you've been signed by the publisher, it's already too late. You should have started a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because your brand building is building your person, your own fame, your own credibility through blogs, video blogs, whatever you can get famous for. You need to be establishing your own brand, and then you have more credibility for establishing your book's brand. And then you tie that brand to your publisher. You say, well, I've got a publisher now, and my book's coming out in the fall, things to talk about.
And those are the wise words from the C&E show. All right, guys, we got you. We'll always help you out.
I think the last 8 years have been pretty good.
I think so too.
On balance.
I feel like it went fast. It doesn't feel like 8 years at all.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said it was 8 years.
Yeah, I couldn't
I
believe
didn't even
it.
think about it. I mean, I quit my old job in 2012, and by 2013, I was signed as an author. So I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, it took me 25 years of practicing writing to get to that point.
Hey, it all paid off.
And I've had 2 publishers, and the first one was, they're no longer in business, but Pandaverse been pretty solid.
Yeah. I feel like we just keep getting better. We've got
every class of new authors we bring in. We call them, with the Greek alphabet, we were the alpha class. And then there's the betas and the gammas and the deltas and the epsilons and the zetas. I'm trying to remember my Greek alphabet here. You used to have to say it 3 times a lit match before it burned your fingers when I was in a fraternity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got to the point where you could say it so fast people didn't know what you were saying.
Oh, so what do you think's going to happen in the next 8 years?
You're going to be real famous.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of it. I'm terrified.
Me, not so much.
Yes, you're going to be right next to me, E. We're always going to be the C&E team forever.
C&E team.
Forever and ever.
We'll be talking with authors on the C&E show for the next 8 years.
Oh, it's been a real pleasant 8 years, E. I'm really glad that you're my best friend and that our amazing paths crossed. Because when they did, it went.
Yeah, like the first 5 years, 6 years? Yeah. We hadn't even physically met.
No.
I mean, we video chatted, we text all the time.
Yeah.
The first time we met was I flew up to Ohio to go to, we're going to drive over to the C2E2 show in Chicago.
Yeah, and I Facebook lived it.
Yeah, the meeting at the airport.
The meeting at the airport. Yep, everybody, all the pandas were watching. Mama Zara was watching.
Yeah, we had an audience.
I didn't know she was doing that. Okay. And I'm like texting her, where I'm at in the airport because, Cleveland's airport was one place I'd never been. Okay. I grew up in Ohio, but I never had reason to ever go to Cleveland for anything. So, and I'd never been to the Cleveland airport. When I lived in Ohio, I always flew out of the Vandalia airport above Dayton.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little tiny airport.
Oh, no, Cleveland's big.
It's not as big as Vegas.
Or Chicago.
Or Atlanta. Yeah, I hate connecting with flights in Atlanta or Dallas, the Dallas Fort Worth airport.
Oh, Dallas Fort Worth. I've connected through there, and that was so fun.
I flew into Dallas Fort Worth one time, and I was on. Tell you how long ago this was. I was flying on Eastern Airlines. They don't even exist anymore. They probably don't exist because this is the way they treated their passengers. I flew in at the gate, was in one terminal building, and my next connecting flight, which is also Eastern Airline, was over here at this gate. Well, the tram between the buildings goes the opposite direction. So by the time I got over to this terminal, to my gate, they had the final boarding call for that flight. Or maybe when somebody designs an airport, okay, and you have like a train going between the terminal buildings, maybe you should have two trains, one going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially if it's a long way around. Or maybe if you're an airline and you're in two buildings at an airport, maybe you should have some kind of a connection for your own, like a little crosswalk between the buildings.
That might work. That's it. We should start building airports.
Or just make sure that you don't schedule flights between this building and this building that are in the opposite directions. I mean, there's all kinds of solutions to that problem.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you got places to be, and I don't because I'm retired.
Must be nice. Well, that's okay because my soon-to-be fame, I get to stay home and I just talk to you all day long and write books.
Yeah, we kind of do that now.
Yeah.
Except you got this weird thing called a job that interferes every once in a while.
I know. That's okay. I'm telling you, time's coming. Time's coming. Universe has bigger things planned.
And it starts with superheroes.
Yes. Run. Go to Amazon. Pre-order it.
We'll have some special deals on all three books. If you haven't read any of the series, which a lot of people haven't, I mean, I know that for a fact. I've seen the sales. You can get all three books at a decent price and enjoy the series.
Yeah.
It's a good series. It's about, it'll take you back to your childhood. It's set in 1988, summer of 1988. And it's primarily about an 8-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl who are best friends. And during the summer of 1988, they're all about baseball and playing with each other and haunted houses. And they suddenly realize that they're developing superpowers.
It's like the Sandlot, but cooler.
Yeah, the Sandlot with paranormal abilities.
Yes. Great movie. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We're going to probably have a new guest, hopefully, coming up. So
we have Jill Selbo coming up shortly. She's got a book launching on the 11th of August.
Yes.
It's called 10 Days. And, I got to tell you, if you don't read another book this year, besides superheroes, of course, you need to read 10 Days. It's an awesome book. It's in the final editing review right now. And I was talking to Zara the other day about it. And she was like, yeah, you were right about this book. And what did I say about it? It's a damn good book. It checks off all the boxes for what's popular right now. It's got a really interesting, engaging story, realistic settings, realistic characters. The main character is female, and she's kind of forced into being a detective. The story evolves from there, and it starts off kind of light and fluffy, and it gets darker as it goes.
because there's a lot of crap going on in Portland, Maine. Imagine that.
Aw, but yeah, so run out, get 10 days, pre-order Superheroes, and then we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.